At the same time, I don't want to take, I don't want to take forever trying to take it off. Why can't my words come out? I don't want to spend, even that didn't come out right. I don't want to spend too much time trying to take off mascara. I'm just so tired today. Honestly, that's what it is. I can't get my words out. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new, then welcome. This channel is all about beauty, transparent makeup tutorials, and solving your beauty dilemmas, and just generally making your life easier when it comes to makeup and skincare. Now, today's video is all about how to avoid under eye mascara smudging. This is something which is highly requested from you guys. I've had so many people ask me about this, so I really wanted to show you various tips throughout this video. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do all of them, but it does mean that you have plenty to choose from to hopefully help solve that problem for you. Now, before we get into the video, if you do like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. You can also catch me on Instagram, where you can watch my stories for some daily beauty news. So let's jump straight into the video. As you can see, I don't have any makeup on. I do have my moisturizer on, I do have my SPF on, and I do have some face primer. That's it. I don't have any eye cream on because I'm gonna show you that right now, because what I wanna do is show you how you can avoid that under eye smudging and also the smudging on the eyelid, but it does really start from how you prep your skin. So I'm gonna start from the beginning, but I'm showing you different tips and tricks that you can use to help avoid that smudging on the under eye or upper lid area. It doesn't mean that you have to take this entire routine and do it all in one go, because not everyone has the time to do all of this every single day. So you take away anything that you like and anything that you feel that may help you, but it doesn't mean that you have to use this whole routine. I'm just trying to show you everything I can in one video. Basically, what we want to avoid is too much fluidity on the skin when you've applied your mascara. So we don't want there to be kind of like any tackiness to the skin, because if there is, then that mascara is gonna if it touches your skin, it's gonna start to basically water down, become fluid itself. So that's where you start to see that slight smudging, and it develops throughout the day. It could be that, it could be the mascara isn't actually that great. So there are various different reasons as to why it may be smudging, but I'm going to go through them one by one as I go through each trick or tip that you could use or incorporate into a routine so that you can avoid that under eye mascara smudging. I'm going to apply my Charlotte Tilbury Cryo Recovery Eye Serum. Now, it's a serum, not a cream. I use two different eye creams. I use one which is a thicker cream in the evening because I don't have to worry about my skin being tacky or having too much fluidity to it, like oiliness or greasiness to it, because I'm not wearing eye makeup. But in the morning, I want to wear something which is going to give me the hydration, but it's also going to help to kind of not leave that tacky, too much of a greasy finish to my skin. So this one really helps because my skin just absorbs all that product, but it doesn't feel super dry after either. So it's not like not wearing any eye serum or cream. It does actually help to give you that hydration. This eye cream has various different benefits to it, which I'm not going to go into, but ultimately the texture is a serum, and that is what really helps that beginning part, that process of ensuring that I don't get that mascara smudging on my under eye area or my lid. So I'm just gonna apply a small amount of this, and I just usually just spread this over because otherwise too much can come out. So I'm just putting this all over, and then usually what I do is just with my fingers, I just kind of pick up any excess eye serum because I don't want too much on my skin. Just enough to be able to kind of hydrate my skin and help brighten the area. But ultimately, the real hydration that I'm looking for in an eye cream comes in my nighttime routine. That's when my skin is recovering through the night and repairing itself, and that's where I really could do with that really intense hydration. So for the morning time, I really just want a basic eye cream, something that helps brighten the area, just that little pick me up for my eye area. So that's good enough for me. Now, because it doesn't leave a tacky finish, we don't have too much of that kind of fluid feeling over the skin. So that's the first one. It could be that all you need to do is change your eye cream around, and if you use something which is a little bit lighter, doesn't leave as much of a greasy finish, that could be all that it takes for you to stop that under eye or that mascara smudging. But again, let's move on to another thing, because it could be that you accumulate a few of these tricks and you need to use a few of them in order to avoid the under eye mascara smudging, but it could be that you just need to change one thing around. Now, not everyone wears concealer or foundation on the upper lid area. I do, so obviously I'm going to show you you the application process and step by step of like how I set that area, and that could also help to avoid the under eye mascara or the upper lid mascara smudging. Now, if you don't wear concealer or foundation, it could mean that maybe the area is just too kind of greasy, too fluid. You've also got to bear in mind that it depends on your oil production as well, because throughout the day our skin produces oil, and with some people it will come out a bit sooner, with some people it won't, with some people it will stay super dry, therefore they probably have dry skin or dehydrated skin. But for me, for example, that oil will start to kind of, I can see it coming through throughout the day in certain areas. Now, I don't have a problem with under eye smudging because I do, this is currently is a routine I use, to be honest. But if you don't wear concealer or foundation, then it may mean that you need to add some powder, and that's it. So let's move on. I'm going to apply my concealer. So I'm just applying just a smaller amount here. Now, I know that my eye area is not overly greasy, so I know that this is going to really kind of set well. Now, also the concealer I'm using is kind of a self-setting concealer. It's the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, so it's not an overly fluid concealer. If you use a super fluid concealer that doesn't really set itself, I'm not saying you have to get a self-setting concealer. Look at the texture. If the texture is very fluid and it doesn't really dry up on the skin at any point, then obviously your mascara is going to smudge, because if your lash is going to like touch that fluid area where you've got that concealer, then it's going to start kind of like loosening the mascara texture, and it starts to kind of run and leaves a kind of smudged finish to the eye area. I've applied my concealer. Now what I want to do is make sure I set this now. I'm just going to use my Ben Nye Banana powder and my powder puff. I'm just using the Laura Mercier powder puff, and what I'm doing is pressing this on. Now, a lot of people leave the concealer and that's it. If you put a powder on top, you don't have the tacky finish. Let me just break it down for you for a second so you know exactly why your mascara may be running. Okay, put it this way. You've got mascara on. When you use that mascara, let me just show you. When you use a mascara, it's very fluid, right? It's a cream. It's like a thick cream. When you put it onto your lashes, it dries. So it's fully dry. And then, you know, it doesn't stay runny. If you touch it, it doesn't kind of come off. It does dry up. The question that I've been asked a lot lately is, why do I get that smudging? Why does it run? Now, if I were to get some water and touch my lashes, it's going to start running. That's what happens when you have too much of a tacky finish around the area. If your mascara touches your skin and your skin is kind of fluid, or, you know, it's not really dry, then obviously your mascara is going to start to kind of like loosen up and become a little bit more fluid and then run. So basically what you want to do is keep your skin around that area quite dry. You don't want that tackiness coming through. Even if you like a dewy look to your face, fine, go for it. But just the areas that your mascara may touch, just make sure you mattify that area. That isn't going to change the overall appearance of your makeup. Now I'm going to get my my concealer, sorry. And I'm just going to apply it here. Now again, you apply however much of this that you need to, or you feel comfortable with, however much that you usually do. Now, what I'm doing is I'm letting that dry just a little bit. That may help with your usual concealer as well. Just let it kind of like dry up just a little bit before you start blending, because if you go in and blend straight away, it's super fluid and it just moves around everywhere and you don't actually get much of that coverage because the sponge absorbs most of it. Whereas if you let it set a little while, then what happens is it's too thick for the sponge to actually absorb it all, so you really get to use all of that concealer that you've put on initially. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and then I'm gonna buff that in. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the area is fully dry. So once I've applied that concealer, I'm actually going to go in with my finish my base, because obviously I wouldn't apply powder straight away on top of my concealer. I would go over with my foundation and then I would apply my powder. So I'm going to do it the correct way and show you. I think we can start buffing this in now. So now that I've done that area, let me just finish off the rest of my face very quickly in terms of my base, and then we're going to stop when we get to actually setting the area. Okay, so my foundation is on. I'm gonna go in with my Laura Mercier powder puff and my Ben Nye Banana powder, and I've just pressed it into the powder puff. Now I'm pressing it right under my eye area. Right, I'm just gonna do my under eye first because you don't need to see the rest of the face. Now I'm gonna go straight in with my brush, which is my Real Techniques setting brush, and I'm gonna start dusting this powder off. I haven't actually done the rest of my face yet, which I'll do in a minute. Right, I've dusted off this powder from my under eye area, but I've actually left on, I could do with brushing it more to fully get rid of whatever powder residue is there, but I'm gonna leave that because that's actually gonna help me. Now, I'll explain that in a little while, but I'm just gonna very quickly set the rest of my face. Okay, so my face is set and I just want to explain to you why having that extra powder down there will help. It's one of the tricks that you could use. Because I haven't fully I have dusted away all that powder, but I haven't fully dusted away all of it. Like I could do with actually taking some more off with the brush, but I've left it because what I want to do is make sure that I put my mascara on and let that dry fully before I actually get a brush and dust off any excess powder that's left there. And what that means is that everything is fully dry and you're not going to have that kind of like tacky or fluid finish touching the mascara. I'm just going to finish off the rest of my face and come back very quickly so we can talk through some more tricks on how to avoid mascara smudging. Right, I finished my face off. Now we're gonna move on to the next trick. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that you can use eye primer to avoid mascara smudging. I'm gonna be honest, that really does depend on the type of eye primer. You know when you put an eye primer on and then you try and put something over it and it becomes like patchy because the primer kind of dries in all the wrong places, and maybe it isn't even enough because it's difficult to see because it's normally kind of transparent. I feel like that's what you're gonna get, and that is gonna kind of ruin whatever coverage I've got now. And I wouldn't have wanted to apply an eye primer before my concealer because usually the eye primers go on just before your eyeshadow. So I haven't used an eye primer, but I've made sure that I've prepped my skin in the correct way. This is kind of going to stay put all day, so I don't have that worry about my foundation or concealer coming off. If I don't have the worry of my foundation and concealer coming off, then I don't have the worry of that kind of transferring onto my mascara and loosening my dry mascara. Next up, what I'm going to do is show you, do you remember I left a bit of the powder on here? I left that there and it still could do with coming off. But what I'm going to do is apply my mascara now. Now, another thing is it could be the type of mascara you're using. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Legit Lashes Mascara because genuinely I feel like it stays put. But to be honest with you, you can use a waterproof mascara. I don't know if this one is actually waterproof or not, but what I do know is that it comes off easily when I want to take it off. Now, I don't really go out looking for a waterproof mascara, and I know a lot of you guys probably don't want a waterproof mascara because the ones that are really waterproof, and I mean like super waterproof, it doesn't really come off when you want it to come off. Like it's really difficult to get it off, and honestly I can't be dealing with having to spend extra time trying to take makeup off. So I just want something that's going to be kind of I know it's a lot to ask for, but water resistant. At the same time, I don't want to take, I don't want to take forever trying to take it off. Why can't my words come out? I don't want to spend, even that didn't come out right. I don't want to spend too much time trying to take off mascara. I'm just so tired today. Honestly, that's what it is. I can't get my words out. Anyway, I'm gonna use this mascara. It never seems to budge, and honestly, when I do want to take it off, it comes off pretty easily. So I'm gonna use the curl and length side. You've got to make sure that you look down into the mirror when you're applying your upper lash mascara. Now, I'm gonna also show you how you can avoid it getting onto your skin when you're applying it. Although this video is all about how to avoid smudging, you also do wanna make sure you apply it correctly and you don't get the mascara anywhere on your skin during the application process. Now, by looking down, it means that it gives me all this space, whereas if I look straight and did it, I'm blatantly gonna touch my skin at some point. So I'm gonna look down, and I've got my mirror here like this. I'm looking down, and now I'm applying it. Okay, so this eye is done and we didn't get any mascara anywhere, but I'm gonna just go ahead and apply it here as well. Okay, so mascara is done, and even though I'm looking straight ahead, I am still lifting my head up so that I'm not like, like that. Just wanna add a little bit more. Okay, I didn't get any on my upper lid, but I tell you what I am gonna do. I'm just gonna kind of touch my skin a little bit. There you go, so I can show you how you can remove that. Don't ever glide across it. Don't ever try and take it off straight away. You've got to let it dry fully before you attempt to take this off. If you make a mistake like this, then always let it dry properly. Okay, so we've let that dry a little bit. I'm going to carry on letting that dry and do my under eyes now. So I'm using the same curl and length side of the mascara. And now this is where I want to make sure I look up to do my lashes. So basically what I want to do is hold this mirror up here so that it creates the space underneath my lashes. So all I'm doing now is just kind of brushing through my lashes. I usually just take it from the middle of the lash and drag it down. I don't take it right from the root because I don't really want that kind of look. Okay, so that's done. Let's do the other side. Okay, so we've applied the mascara on the lower lash line as well, or lower lashes. Now, I don't like them to be too clumpy, so what I do after applying my mascara is I just kind of like take all the tips off. So I just pull from the tips very lightly. I'm not pulling my lashes hard. And basically that leaves me just the right amount of mascara on my lower lashes because I don't like them to look too like spidery. Now, before we move on to the next trick, I just want to show you how you can remove this mascara that we've got on the lid. Now I'm going to get a spoolie. There's nothing on this spoolie and I'm just going to start scraping. And because the mascara is dry, it should just kind of scrape off. Okay. Now, see what I mean? It's lifted off. Now what you want to do is get your brush, the one that you applied whatever powder that you used before, and just kind of like go over it. And it should be okay. There you go. So you can't even see that there was a mascara mistake there. Okay, remember we had a little bit of powder on the under eye area and I said that I didn't actually want to take that off immediately. Now I'm going in with my Zoeva 231 brush because it's the perfect size to just fit into that area. And now there's nothing on this brush. I know it looks it, it's just I've taken off everything. There was hardly anything on it. I'm just kind of like lifting off that powder residue. So we applied the powder with the puff, right? Remember, we pressed it in with this. And then I said to you, right, okay, now let's get rid of the excess. So we brushed it away, but I said to you that I could have done with brushing away more. So we left a very small amount there. Now that small amount has helped protect that under eye area from any mascara. And also there's little dots you might see sometimes. So what we want to do is we're just taking away, I've used a smaller brush obviously, whatever excess powder that was. But that powder that I left there is, it's not baking, but we've kind of like let it kind of set the area, but more so it's about keeping that area dry. It's not so much about having that baking effect. It's really about making sure that you kind of seal the area so that oils don't come through too easily. And now if you don't really use foundation and concealer and you feel like you get that kind of smudginess under the eyes and that upper lids, then really you need to look into which type of mattifying primer that you use. So as I mentioned earlier, I didn't use an eye primer because it's a bit difficult to use when you are wearing concealer and foundation and on top of that you've got your powder that set it. It's like, where do I put the eye primer then? Other than underneath the concealer, but it really depends on the type of eye primer that you use. For example, the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion just doesn't cut it for me because it's super patchy and it just dries up so quickly that if you put your concealer over that, it's just going to look really wrong. Trust me, try it if you want. It looks awful. So, and I know because I tried it. What you want to do is, if you don't wear concealer and foundation, then you can use that primer because you're not putting anything on top. So just think about how you can mattify the area without your foundation and concealer, and then you go in with your mascara. Now, like I said earlier, I think I did anyway, that you can use a waterproof mascara, but not everyone likes to remove waterproof mascara. Like, you want something that you can very easily take off as well. And with this mascara, I feel like it does come off really easily, especially if you use, eye makeup remover. I personally like just washing everything off. So I use the Wishful Clean Genie and I just take everything off with that, and then I wash my face with my actual face wash and then I scrub it. Well, my normal scrub. So I don't like scrub. I use like the, the Foreo, I think it's called Foreo. That like vibrating thing that it just cleans your face. That was way too much of a long explanation for that. So anyway, so yeah, so a couple of other things. If you feel like later on in the day you're seeing some of the like dots, then you just want to keep a brush with you and a powder. Like, you could use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder and just use a brush like the Real Technique setting brush and just apply the smallest amount of powder onto the brush, take the excess off on the back of your hand, and then kind of like just go over. And because your skin was set properly beforehand, it should just dust off. But honestly, with this, with any of these kind of tips and tricks that I've shown you, you shouldn't be getting mascara smudging. The mascara shouldn't be becoming fluid unless you're using a mascara which isn't drying properly. So like something which stays fluid, but ideally you want a mascara which stays put. A few mascaras, I'm going to give you some suggestions that I have used and never ever cause me any kind of smudging, even when I'm wearing like barely any foundation or concealer. So one was the Huda Legit Lashes. The second one is the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara. You've seen me use that a lot in my videos, and that is amazing. It doesn't budge, genuinely, it stays put. Another one is the Hourglass Unlocked Mascara. That honestly is amazing, and it genuinely probably one of the best mascaras if you're looking for something that is smudge proof and doesn't actually run. And the thing is, it doesn't come off, like, I would say the best way to take that mascara off is by wetting your face, and literally soon, like, if you just press it, you just hold it and it just slides off, but it doesn't actually run. So the good thing about this mascara, the Hourglass Unlocked, is that when you've applied it, it dries, but then when you wet it again, it doesn't become fluid. It almost turns into like a rubber once it's dried. So when you take it off, it's like this rubber that's just sliding off. So that honestly is really good, because even if you get that fluidity somewhere around your eyes, you're not going to have this mascara kind of like running. It's just, it's really odd, but it's so good. Now, another mascara that tends to stay put is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes. That's a good mascara as well. It doesn't seem to cause me any problems. And also the NARS Climax Mascara is very good as well. Stays put. I don't get smudging with any of these mascaras. Honestly, the best mascara, if you don't want to have to deal with concealer, foundation, powder, all that stuff, is the Hourglass Unlocked Mascara. It's amazing, and it doesn't become fluid again once it touches anything wet or fluid. So anyway, I have not been able to get my words out in this video today, so please excuse me because I don't know what's going on. I think it's just lack of sleep. Hopefully that has helped you with how to avoid under eye smudging, and if you have any questions, then let me know in the comments below. Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's really honestly solved your beauty dilemma when it comes to smudged mascara on the under eye area or the lid area. All of my products are listed in the description box, so don't forget to check there, because all you need to do is click on the links. Any questions, let me know in the comments below. Now, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.